Hey, good morning. It's Ben Parker here from the Oklahoma Public School Resource Center. Just wanted to share some good news with you. If you guys have been paying attention to anything coming out of ISTE, you'll know that Google made four big announcements at ISTE yesterday. As a big Google fan and somebody who very much loves Google, as you guys know, we do a lot of training on that at the Resource Center. I wanted to let you guys know about these new tools. So let's run through an overview real quick, and then we might jump into some of these and do some more defining. First thing, I'm here on this web post page, this blog post page, to announce these four new things from Google. There'll be a link to that in the video description underneath here, so if you can grab that there. But the first big announcement was they're bringing their curriculum to life, and they're introducing the Expeditions app. I know some of you have reached out about the Expeditions app, which is kind of like a virtual reality field trip. It's a virtual field trip, and so it's kind of been limited before, but now they're opening up to everybody. It's available today. The app is the Expedition app for Android devices, and it'll be available soon for iPhones and iPads. And you can use this a couple of ways. If you have iPads, the kids can view it 2D, full screen, and go on field trips to really interesting places all around the world. You can learn a lot. It's really cool, so they can do that right there on their tablet. If you have smaller devices, you can use what they call Google Cardboard, which actually will turn your smaller devices into a piece of virtual reality. So kids can actually hold that up over their faces and kind of explore and turn and look around and see the place that they're at. They get an interactive experience. You can get these Google Cardboard kits online, or Best Buy will be carrying them. They'll have kits now that you'll be able to use. So that's the first piece. Super exciting. The second piece is Google Cast for education. So for people who have been using Chromecast, I'm a big Chromecast fan, and you can get a lot done with it. So Chromecast is something that you can plug into your projector. Your projector's HDMI port, and then I can wirelessly send my video screen from my laptop or my tablet or my phone to the projector, so I don't have to be plugged in anywhere. And it's really cool. What they've done now is they've released an app that's coming for educators, so I can control who has access. I can actually go into my Google Classroom and say, give these 3 or 4 students access to put their screens up on my projector. And so if I'm walking around the class and kids are working with devices and I see someone's looking at something really cool or they found some great information, I can give that student permission right from my Chromebook I'm carrying or tablet I'm carrying then to cast up onto the screen, which is really cool. So great way to work with devices and get interactive. And then here's a big one. For those of you who've used Flubaroo and made quizzes using Google Forms and the Flubaroo add-on, now Google has quizzes and forms. It's actually built into Google Forms. I can go in and build a test, a multiple choice test, and then I can select what the answers are and all that fun stuff. And so I'm actually going to dive deeper into this in just a few minutes. And then the other thing that they've done is what they're calling these creative apps on Chromebooks. So schools using Chromebooks have kind of gravitated towards a few apps. And so the first is Explain Everything, which is kind of an interactive whiteboard. So you can take pictures, images, and or videos and whatever, and you can draw over the top of those things, and it's an interactive whiteboard, and you can save it. So it's a way for your students to work out a math problem on a Chromebook by drawing with their mouse, and then they can record that, and they can actually share that with you, share that with other students, so you can actually see what they're thinking, and they're explaining that to you, which is it's a pretty cool little deal. Soundtrap for education, which is essentially, if you're a Mac user, you can think GarageBand, but in the cloud. But this is a way for me to build music tracks, and then also record my voice, create podcasts, that sort of thing, so for your students to be able to put together audio files explaining the things that they've learned, which is really cool. And then WeVideo, which is an app that a lot of schools are using. It allows students to create their own videos and edit videos, maybe explaining what they're learning, make their own little documentaries, basically over what they're learning. Great for project-based learning and things like that. And so these all have pricing with them. What Google has announced now is that through Chromebook resellers, you can buy all three of these apps kind of in one bundle and then release them to your entire school. I don't have pricing on that. As soon as I have it, I promise I'll let you guys know. And so I've already sent out inquiries, and then we'll go from there, which is pretty cool. So that's Chromebooks. Those are the four major announcements. What I want to do now is I just want to jump into the Google quiz. So how do I make a Google quiz? If I've been using Flubaroo, what does that look like now, and how do I take advantage of this, and what are the differences? So let me show you. So I've got in my Google Drive here, I'm in my Drive Technology, and I've got a folder I created called Google Quiz. And so I'm just going to select the new and go to More and go to Google Forms. I'm going to create a new Google Form. Now, I'm creating mine in a shared folder, so it's asking me if that's what I want to do. I'm going to say yes. And so I'm going to call this Explaining Google Forms. And so I have that. And click up here so it kind of takes that name. There we go. So now I'm going to come up here on the cogwheel on the settings. I'm not going to restrict this, and because that's never what I do in a quiz. But you can do that, restricted to people who only are signed in with your organization's email address. That's up to you. And then all these typical answers that we had before, or options that we had before. I can go to presentation. I can show a progress bar. I can shuffle the question order. I can show the link to submit another response. I'm going to take that away. But you'll notice I've got another piece over here called quizzes. I can make this a quiz, and I can release the grade immediately, which is after each submission, or later after a manual review. And so this is actually going to require them to be logged in with your organization's email or school's email. So they would have to have a Kingfisher Public Schools email address, or whatever public school you might be at. They'd have to have that. I'm not going to set that. I'm just going to say show it immediately. And I'm going to say respondents can see missed questions and correct answers, and I'm going to save it. So now I have right here my first question. And so just like always, I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to say, where is KD going to go in free agency? Something everybody in Oklahoma is talking about. So I'm going to say option 1 is OKC, option 2 is OKC, option 3 is OKC, and option 4 is OKC, right? Because that's where we want them to go. And so I'm going to duplicate this question because I'm going to have a couple others here. And so I'm going to say, how much do you love Google for doing this? And the first option might be meh. And the second one would be little. The third one would be a lot. And the fourth, we'll just say, OMG, I love this, right? So I have that. I'm going to duplicate this one. So now I have 3 questions here. I'm going to go back down here at the bottom. I'm going to say, how quick are you going to start using this new feature? And so I'll start with the first one, never. Let's try, I don't know. We'll go soon, and then we'll say right now. Okay, so you're saying, okay, this is great. This is just like forms. You can see I can hover over these, and I can grab this handle here, and I can rearrange the order and drag them around, and I could still choose different types of questions. Now, what's the key difference between this and Flubaroo? In Flubaroo, we can also grade short form answers or short text answers. So we could grade like, what is the capital of Oklahoma? They could type in Oklahoma City. There's only one way to type that in, and we could still grade that. We can't do that with Google Quizzes, so that's a difference. The other thing we can't do with Google Quiz is we can't have a long form response where we put in a big long essay question and then enter that grade manually. That's one of the things that Flubaroo does. So if you have these more complex quizzes, then maybe Google Quiz still isn't the way for you. But if you just have these benchmarks or these readiness checks that are all multiple choice, you're just trying to gain an understanding of where your students are at, or maybe this is just like a daily grade and you've converted some of the paper that you've been using for a while, then this is still a really good option. And what's awesome is I can insert images or I can add videos into my quiz so they can watch a video, they can take the quiz, I can insert a map, look at the map, answer this question. So that all works here in Google Quizzes, which is really cool. Now, a couple of key things I need to add. I'm going to add a question, and I'm going to make it a short answer, and I'm just going to say, what is your name? And that one's going to be required. And I'm going to drag this all the way up to the top. And then I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to ask for their email address too. Although I don't really, and you know what, I'm not going to ask for that. I'm going to go ahead and take that off because I don't need it, because it's not like Flubaroo where it's going to send it. I'm actually going to go through and make sure all of these are required so that students have to answer the questions. So now I've got my form built. I'm going to change it because I'm not a purple guy. I'm going to make it blue. Here we go, and now I can preview my form. So I'm just going to look and see what it looks like. You can see name, and here are all of the questions. All right, so now that I can see what this looks like, but I still have to tell it what the right answers are. So if I go down to my question and I say answer key, I'm just going to give each question, it's going to be worth 20 points, right? And then I'm going to say, what is the correct answer for this question? Well, the correct answer is, OMG, I love this. And I can come down here to this next question, say the answer key. Of course, OKC, these are all correct answers. This one is worth 50 points. So that's 70 points that we got now. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say answer key. How quick are you going to start using this? The obvious right answer is right now. And we're going to say that's worth 30 points. Okay, and I can go back to editing the question if I want to. So now you can see, as I'm looking, you can see what the right answers are in the edit view because it's got little check marks next to all of them. So now I've chosen my right answers, and I'm just going to open this once again. Everything saves as I work in Google Drive. All right, so now that I have my form built, I'm going to go here to the send button, and I'm just going to grab a link to this. I'm going to shorten the URL. This is what I would post in my Google Classroom or in any other LMS I might be using. I'm going to copy that. And down here at the bottom of my computer, I've got browsers built for students, so I'm just going to paste this in here. And so this one, I'm just going to fill out. The student is named Burton Trout. I'm going to answer these questions. How much does he love Google for doing this? He's just going to say a little. Where's Katie going in free agency? Obviously, OKC. And then how quick are you going to start using this feature? Right now. So I hit submit as a student. You'll see your response has been recorded. View your score. Now I can go back and say, oh, shoot, that was not the right answer. But look, this is the correct answer. And you can see, oh, this one was correct, and that was correct. Okay, so I have that. I'm going to close out this browser, and then I'm going to open up this other student browser. I'm going to paste in the URL again and go to it. And this one is another student. I'll type in his name. And then I'm going to answer again. I'm going to do all of these right so you can see. And then I submit, and then view my score. And you can see it shows me all the answers. So I'm getting immediate feedback as a student. You can see I'm getting 100 out of 100 points. And then when I go back here as a teacher, this is the teacher view where I was at before. I'm going to go to responses. And you can see I can see an overview, average and median and all this, and I get a breakdown of my questions like I would with any Google form. But then I can also go individual, and I can see that Burton Trout made 80 of 100, and Guy Butterstaff's made 100 of 100. I can even print these, which is really cool. It's going to give me an option to print out those tests if I want paper copies of those, and so that's available. So that is Google Quiz. Like I said, really cool tool. but it doesn't have all the features that Fluburger has. But like I said, if you're just doing multiple choice benchmarks or readiness checks, anything like that, this is a great tool for you to use. So that's the new stuff from Google. I hope that this video helped you and explained a few things, and we'll be talking to you soon.